Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and this is September 2022. This is one of our ship excursions. We're in Skagway, Alaska. We're about to do like a dog musher camp, and he actually gives a great tour of the town as we're going out. I'm gonna be quiet and let him do the talking because he's incredible. I'm gonna leave this video kind of long. I'm gonna put most of our whole trip in here. It's going to be over an hour and a half. Feel free to fast forward. This was just a fun trip all the way around, and I wanted people to be able to see the whole thing if they want. This is an excursion you should do, but check it out. We do like a little monster truck ride kind of thing almost, and then we get to ride with the dogs and also play with some puppies. So.
Or it could be 35 feet. Never is the same, it's always different. So sometimes you're gonna see that you're coming out of your ship and there is the gangway or the bridge is one way, and then eventually it's gonna change. So they do that because they have to keep changing the gangway for the tidal change. Sometimes you come out on level 3, then you go back in level 4. And it's for that reason, for the tidal change. Where we're going today, we're going to see more of that change. I'm trying to set up this air conditioner. Is it blowing cold or hot? Feels good?
It feels good to me.
We'll figure out soon. So guys, I want you to see as well. You see the train right here? That's the main reason why Skagway remains a town nowadays. And you guys see the names and the numbers on the train, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people were taking that looking for gold, and those names are from different lakes that the gold miners were coming out here doing their expedition for gold. So as an example, if you're going to Lake Tushai, the number is how many miles away is that from where the train is going to drop you. No gold was found in Alaska, everything was found in Canada. And the closest point was 400 miles from here. I'm going to point out a few things, guys, that I'm going to tell you to remember, and it's going to make sense when we get closer to where we're going. The first thing, guys, I want you to see this statue out here. And you guys see that guy with the backpack on the back? Remember that image. I'm going to tell you, that's how the gold miners used to do it out here. But I'm going to tell you why. The first snowplow owned by the United States right here on the right. And that is the first engine that it was used out here, the number 52 of the United States, the number 1 in Skagway. When the train was built on 1898, it was built in the middle of this street, guys. And this red house, or this red building with the yellow trim, used to be the first train depot. This is downtown Skagway, guys. 7 blocks of pure action and jewelry stores. Over here. And right here on the left, we have the Red Onion Saloon, Brothel Museum, guys. That's the key word. Museum. It's not the same. They lied to me when I took that tour. They never told me it was a museum. Second building, guys. Remember this one on the left right now with the driftwood.
Look at that. Look at that.
Did you guys see that one?
Yes.
Remember that one. We're going to go close to a hiking trail, and I'm going to tell you the story about that one, that it connects with the statue and the gold miners that we saw. So remember those two factors. Another thing, guys, I noticed that there's a few people in this vehicle that has experience in life. Does any of you guys remember a TV show called Northern Exposure?
Oh yeah.
Really good show.
Yeah.
That show was not filmed here, but I don't know if you guys remember that the opening scene has a moose walking on a town.
Yeah.
That was actually filmed out here in downtown Skagway. It was filmed from this section up. Right here on the right, this is our Walmart, the hardware store. These are Lowe, Cabela's, Home Depot, all in one. They have a slogan that says, if we don't have it, you don't need it. And I'm gonna show you something that I know you haven't seen in a while, and if you have one, let me know. But it's gonna be a sign on the left, right here on the pink building on the left side. There's a sign that says Radio Shack.
Yeah.
We still have a Radio Shack out here. They have upgraded to survive. Now they sell DiGiorno's pizzas and Ben and Jerry's. Pay attention right here, guys, to the right, all the way at the end. That cabin on the right is the first cabin built in Skagway by Captain Willis Moore. We have nothing to envy New York, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we are right now in the financial district of Skagway, West Fargo back on the left, coffee shop on the right, post office on the left, and now we're at the end of the financial district. That was it. It's kind of like Times Square out there. During the gold rush, guys, Skagway had 97 brothels and 1 church.
That sounds about right.
That church still standing right here on the right. Nowadays is a city hall and a museum. And the end of downtown Skagway, guys, is marked with this red house right here on the right. That is the first B&B of Skagway. You guys know what B&B stands for, right? Bed and breakfast, exactly. So it used to be a bakery at the bottom and a brothel on top. So bed and breakfast right there. And that was it, guys. That was downtown Skagway. What do you guys think?
Nice.
Now we have crossed into the gated community of Skagway. Right here. I want you guys to see something out here. If you look right here on the right, that is the east coast of Skagway. If you look to the left, that is the west coast of Skagway.
What are the trees with the pretty red berries?
With the red berry on it. So those has 2 names. Either way, people call them wild ash or mountain ash. But what happens is that it's a berry, you can eat it. It doesn't have any flavor, it doesn't have any nutrients, it just has a lot of water.
Our total number is 5 for that.
Not even the ravens eat it. That's why you see so many of the trees full with it. A lot of people, what they do, because in Skagway there's a lot of wild berries that grows. So sometimes if they're gonna do a pie or something like that, they like to grab those so they can get more consistency and more volume. Right here on the right, we have the health clinic of Skagway. We're missing 1 ingredient to become a hospital. Anybody can guess what it is? A doctor, exactly. So how's the waiver? Everybody had a chance to sign the waiver? No, so what happened is that we don't have a doctor in town. We do have physician assistant, we have registered nurse. If something major happened to you, you have to be fly evacuated, either way to Juneau or Seattle. Faster flight would be to Juneau. If you don't have insurance, it can go almost to $25,000. Right here on the left, guys, behind the campground, that brown building is the Skagway City School. Goes from K to 12. Overall this year, guys, the whole school has about 100 kids. This year they're going to have the biggest high school graduation class for the last 17 years. And it's going to be a total of 25. 6 years ago they had the smallest high school graduation class. Can anybody guess how many of them were?
3.
Who said 3?
I did.
You were here before?
No.
It was actually 3.
Oh.
2 girls, 1 boy. I heard prom season got pretty dicey that year.
Where she lives.
But in the good note, guys, the Skagway City School has been recognized by the state for being the #1 on academics.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's think about it. When you have a class of 3, if 2 of them are really good, that's already 67%. And if you did a good job, the 3rd one can bump it to 70. So, And we are right now, guys, exiting Skagway as soon as we cross this bridge. Skagway, it's about 3 miles long, maybe a little bit less. But in hiking trails, there's about 147 miles of different hiking trails out here. Do you guys have any questions so far? We still good? Everything sounds kind of true?
Yes.
So far? Okay.
Good.
Perfect. I have built the confidence that if I don't know the answer of something, I will make up a story that's going to sound true, or you and I will forget. Make a stop right here. So we're picking up right here one of our mushers.
Okay, there we go.
There's a few seats available.
Hi.
Yeah. So guys, this is Nathan. Nathan is one of our mushers.
Hi, Nathan.
This is how I like to call him, the puppy master. We're gonna give him a ride. So, as I was saying that, if I don't know the answer of something, either way, the story that I'm gonna make up is gonna be really good, or after the story, you and I will forget the original question. That's gonna be good. So, what I usually say about this point, guys, Skagway is one of the few places in Southeast Alaska that is not landlocked. So you can drive in and out of Skagway. That's the main way how we get our sled dogs out here. We have some of the sled dogs that are from Michigan. Previous years we have some from Minnesota, Wisconsin. We have some of them from northern Alaska. They usually use this road that we are right now. 10 miles from here, we see the United States border. 20 miles from here, we see the Canadian border. But the actual next town is Whitehorse in Canada, 127 miles away. This is a smaller town before, it's called Carcross. Really, really small town. It's kind of like a pit stop. Oh, we have the bicycle, the electric bike out here, guys. This is the Skagway version of Hell's Angel.
They look tough.
Oh, yeah. Just wave and smile. Just. So as I was saying, guys, that road allow us to go up the way to Canada, and you can keep going up north to northern Alaska, or you can cross Canada and go back to the lower 48. This year we actually have some people that they drove all the way from Florida, from Colorado, California. We had 2 couples that they actually drove from Florida out here.
Wow.
They did survive the drive and they're still together. That is a strong relationship right there.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I'm gonna drive with one of those couples. They're going back to Florida as well, but they're gonna make a stop in Chicago. So I told them that I'm gonna go till Chicago. We still like each other. It's a long drive, so we still like each other in Chicago. Then I consider keep going with them to Florida. Just imagine this, guys. If you want to go to a movie theater right now, what is the most important thing that you need to make sure that you grab with you?
Yes.
Yeah, your wallet, right? Maybe your cell phone. If we want to go to a movie theater out here, we have to make sure to have our passport, because we have to cross to Canada, to Whitehorse. When you go to Walmart, you just basically put some flip-flops. Let's go to Walmart, it's easy. We have to make sure that we don't forget our passport. We have to make a whole trip. We have to drive 3 hours, cross 2 borders, change time zone, change currency. Depending who you talk to, maybe speak a little bit of French. Just to make sure on the way back you don't forget the tidbits from Tim Hortons. We are right now, guys, what is called the Dye Road, D-Y-E-A. That's where we're gonna go right now. That's where we have our camp. It's a sister city of Skagway, but it's a ghost town. There's nothing left. When they finished the train, there was no more reason to come out here, so they moved all the buildings. Alaska has a lot of unique laws, guys. One of the laws out here is that if you own a piece of land and you have 2 or more houses, you can name your driveway. And if you file the paperwork, it will be recognized by the state and by the post office. So there is, we pass a street named Rocky Road. We pass another one named Louis Lane. We're gonna see one more out here on the left. The last name of the family is Ray. Check the name they chose. Rancho Del Rey. But the last one, guys, I don't know what was happening with the family when they chose this name. This is the most stolen sign in Skagway. I can't say it out loud. Feel free to read it. It's gonna be right here on the left. It's 3 words. I'm gonna slow it down. Right here. Just imagine the guy on Amazon is like, wait, what? Where in Alaska these incense are going? Check right here, guys. I'm gonna make a stop here. I have a vehicle behind me. Let them pass, but great opportunity. Take a look at this sign on the right, the small one.
AB Mountain.
AB Mountain. Take a look at that trail.
Wow.
Remember the building I told you in town with the driftwood?
Yeah.
So did you guys know that it has an A and a B?
Yeah.
So the A and the B stands for Arctic Brotherhood.
Yeah.
A group of gold miners came out here looking for gold. They decided to make that club so that way they can share with each other different trails looking for gold. You were required to go to that mountain, close to 3,500 feet of elevation. Bring a piece of driftwood from the top. They will carve your name on the back and put it in front of the building. Once you pass that initiation process, you're a member, and then you can get to the monthly dinner that they do and share with each other different trails looking for gold. Example, oh yeah, I went to Lake Tushai and I found 3 gold nuggets, and then people start writing, okay, Lake Tushai, 3 gold nuggets a day, and they go and see if they can find it. So every month they will do a dinner between them and they will share information with them. But it was a really proud club, so they will not share any kind of information with anybody else. People won't even know who are the members. They will not even disclose, they don't wear anything to let people know because they want to protect all the information. At that time, it would take between 3 to 5 days to complete that trail. Nowadays, it's between 12 to 16 hours round trip, depending on your physical condition. Things are slowing down here, so I have one of my friends that asked me last week if I want to go and hike that mountain with them. I told them I won't have 3 to 5 days off to do it.
Pretty. Look at that.
It is pretty out here. You know what is the most amazing view
Look at
in
that.
this area is that it never looks the same. It's always different, even by the clouds, how overcast it is. Sometimes it's raining where we're going right now, and in Skagway is sunny. Sometimes it's raining in Skagway where we're going sunny. It's always different, and also about the tidal change that I was mentioning before. This water that we have on the left, it's also part of the ocean where you guys are traveling. This one out here is known the Long Bay. Right now, guys, you can put it on your bucket list. With this excursion, you guys have traveled 100% the biggest canal in North America. I know that was the main reason why you booked this. So you can put it on your bucket list, traveling the biggest canal in North America. It's actually a fjord. A canal is man-made. This was made by a glacier. But I don't know what they chose to put a lean canal. At some point it's so deep, guys, that you can sink the Empire State Building and still your cruise ship will go on top and won't even touch it.
Oh, wow.
This bay out here is actually about 900 feet deep. So it's pretty deep. Sometimes we can see whales coming all the way here. This is also the best spot in town to catch shrimps and crabs. Wow. If you look across the bay as well, you will see the black lane on the rocks, like I mentioned you before. At some point, that one goes underwater. So we're gonna see the difference when we get back. Here's how we're gonna see it. At the end, I want you guys to I know I'm telling you to remember so many things, but take a look where the water is right now. And you guys see those wooden poles on the beach right there? Just remember that. Because on the way back, if we start getting higher, we're gonna see the water covering those wooden poles. If we start getting lower, we can even see some structure of a sunken ship that is out there. One of those changes we're gonna see. As I drive back, guys, on the way back I can make a quick hurry, a quick turn. I can't stop right now. On the way back, if you guys want to, I can make a quick stop here. This is the second most amazing view of Skagway, right here on the left.
Oh gosh, that's pretty. That's gorgeous.
So right now you guys have seen the two most amazing views of Skagway. That's the second one. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No? Perfect. So guys, I'm gonna make a radio call to our camp. I'm gonna let them know how many people are in our group, so that way they're prepared. And then I'm gonna explain you what we're doing today in detail. Something tells me that when you guys were reading the information, you read something that said puppies, and you're like, yeah, sign me in. Whatever it is, skydiving and puppies, yeah, perfect. Glacier swimming, bungee jumping, and puppies at the end, yeah, perfect. Whatever it is, I'll do it. But I'm going to explain you a little bit more of what we're doing today. But I want to make sure that you guys know as well, this is the best portion of the travel or the road that we can see wildlife. Keep your eyes open. Anything that you see, say it out loud. As I mentioned to you guys, I'm from Puerto Rico. We don't have bears in Puerto Rico, so yes, I will stop if we see a bear. But now you guys already signed the waiver, so yes, I can open the door. We can go take selfies with the bear. Something happened, don't worry, I have my fucking knife on me. We'll be fine. Musher Excursion Axel on DMC with 21. Base camp, I need to park my vehicle. So here's the thing, guys. We appreciate that you guys have decided to do this tour with us. So we want to treat you guys with the class that you deserve. You guys don't know it yet, but you have chosen to do the best sled dog excursion in Southeast Alaska. And you're going to see why. So when we get out there, we're going to show you where the bathrooms are. Just in case someone needs to use the bathroom, you know, before we go up the mountain. Once we start going up, we don't have a bathroom break from close to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And we're gonna load you guys into a Mercedes. A Mercedes-Benz. When I say Mercedes-Benz, what comes to your mind, right? Quality, comfort, performance, luxury. So I want you to grab all those things, just throw it out of the window. And I want you guys to think of this. The school bus and a monster truck, they had a baby. It's a Mercedes-Benz Unimog German military vehicle. We have upgraded, we have some seats on the back. That is what is going to take us all the way to the top of the mountain, so we can go and see the sled dogs. And I want to make sure that I put all of you guys together, because on the sled we can only sit a total of 6 together. So I have a question. Do I have a group together bigger than 6? No. Do I have a group of 6 together? Group of 5? Group of 4?
Yes.
So those are 2 groups, right? Or is it the same? I think it's 2. Okay. Group of 3s? Perfect. Group of 2s? Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. And 1. Woohoo! Perfect. So that way, I'm gonna sit you guys on the Unimog, and we're gonna sit you guys together. So that way, when we unload up there, we make sure that you go with your group. But don't worry, guys. If you don't want to go with your group, don't say it out loud. Just touch your head, and I'll get the signal. We're gonna be splitting with the teams. You're gonna be assigned a sled. Remember, guys, don't go straight and pet the dogs right away. They don't know you yet. We want them to do the ride, and when they see the musher talking to you, they realize, oh, these are good people. because my guy is talking to them, so I guess they're fine. And then you're gonna have a chance to pet them, give them all the love that you want. We're gonna load back again on the Mercedes, and we're gonna make a stop on a private overlook that we have. If you guys look right now to the left, halfway to the mountain, kind of like 9 o'clock. Halfway to the mountain, there's a wooden platform on top of a white rock.
Yes.
Can you guys spot that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is the private overlook. That is only halfway of what we're going today. So we're gonna make a stop there. We can see all the valley out here. It's a clear day, so all the views of the mountains are gonna be amazing. We can even see one of the ships from Skagway. So it's gonna be great. Then we're gonna load back again on the Mercedes, make our way down the mountain again, have a presentation with one of the mushers. He or she is gonna tell you how to train the dogs in the winter, a little bit of information about the different race. They're also gonna show you a sled that they use. And in that same area, we're gonna go and play with puppies. We have some that they are the teenagers. We have them on the shark tank, or how we like to call it, dog wards. We have a big hamster wheel for them to run, burn some energy, but also we don't force them to jump in there. They do it by themselves because they have so much energy. But then also kind of like show them how to run on a straight line. If they go to one side, they fall off the wheel. If they go to the other side, they bump into the other dog or to the wall, so they just keep running on a straight line. So that's a good training at the beginning. Then we're gonna go meet Chibili with her beautiful pups. And then we also have a gift shop if you guys want to get some merchandise, get a drink, coffee or hot chocolate, or a tequila before we come back. Any questions so far?
No.
About anything?
No.
Still good? Perfect. So now I have a question for you guys. Have any of you guys read the book or seen the movie Call of the Wild?
Yes.
Yes.
So Call of the Wild was written by Jack London. He actually came out here looking for gold. He did not find gold like many people, but he got a lot of stories. And he started writing Call of the Wild. He also wrote White Fang while he was here in Skagway. Park Service has a number that close to 100,000 people that came here looking for gold. Only 4,000 made it all the way to where the gold was found. And from those 4,000, less than 500 actually found gold. You know what that means for everybody else, right?
Oh, yeah.
It didn't pan out. Sorry guys, it's included on the contract. You're a tour guide, bad jokes. Bad jokes, it's not allowed. Bad jokes are included. Oh, we had the bicycle tour out here. Any of you guys have any family members or friends on the bicycle tour today? They've been doing that tour since 2000, early 2000 out here. At that time, they used to call them Meals on Wheels. 2010, they decided to change the name. Call them Fast Food. And then now in 2020, they upgraded and changed the name again. Like, I have any idea how they call them now? Uber Eats. Okay, I'm gonna work with that joke. I'm gonna work with that joke better. So Nathan, you staying on the edge or going to camp?
We'll go to camp.
To camp? So guys, remember, this is the point. The last thing that I told you to remember. Remember what I told you about the statue with the guy with the big backpack? So we are approaching right here what is known as the Shilkut Trail. This is the famous trail that everybody was taking here looking for gold. Before they finish the train, you had to go hiking through the mountain, and it could take you close to 6 or 7 months to make it all the way to the top. It's only 33 miles, But what happened is that the Canadian border, the Canadian mountains, they want you to survive. So they require that if you're going to cross to Canada, you have to have at least 2,000 pounds on supplies. How many of you can carry 2,000 pounds at once? None, right? This is the beginning of the trail right here on the right side, the Shilka Trail, the famous Golden Staircase. This is the reason why everybody was coming here, to start hiking that trail. And you guys remember the guy with the back? I'm going to tell you more, but I want you guys to look at that glacier on the way on the left to the top.
Oh yeah. Wow, look at that. On the other side.
Musher Excursion Max of Bridge 1 with 21. So, as I was telling you guys, you remember the guy with the box and the backpack?
Yeah.
So you can't carry 2,000 pounds at once. You guys saw the trail. It's too narrow to have a horse with a car, or to have sled dogs, because at some point it's so steep. So you will have to grab between 50 to 100 pounds, walk 1 mile, drop those supplies, and come back for the rest. So to advance 1 mile, you're walking over close to 100 miles, because you're going back and forward, back and forward. So halfway to the trip, you're already tired, you're exhausted. And then you take breaks. So that's why it was taking so long for all of them to make that trip. When they finish the train, that's when things change. Picture this, 2,000 pounds of supplies. That is a lot, right? It's the 1800s. How easy is to acquire money at that time? It's not that easy. And you would not make that much money, no matter who you are, unless you're an owner of something. So the people who were actually looking for gold, they were rich people. People who has money to actually buy 2,000 pounds in supplies. Like 100 pounds of beans, 100 pounds of rice, 200 pounds of flour, 3 different tents, 4 pairs of jeans or pants. You know, like all those different supplies. They have a long list of the things they needed. When they finish the train, you don't have to bring 2,000 pounds in supplies. The train is affordable, so that's when more of the common man start making their way up the mountain. So they finished the train in 1898. There was no more reason to come out here. So what did everybody do? They left. And they took all the buildings with them. So there's nothing out here. There's nothing left. All of these that we have out here on the side, this is where the town is supposed to be. And you guys see how the trees are really close to each other? We're going to start seeing soon that they're getting closer and closer, and some of them has a branch so long, like these ones.
Oh gosh.
So long all the way to the ground, because the forest is growing up for the 3rd time. So it's trying to create a net in between the trees, so that way nothing can go and destroy it. Hey, horseback axle approaching slide cemetery. Copy. If we compare this town with San Francisco in the 1800s, at that time, there was more people living out here than in San Francisco. Surprisingly enough as well, guys, Skagway had electricity before New York.
Really?
Yeah. The gold rush out here was such a big deal. And everybody was coming out here because it was at the same time when they found gold in South Dakota and Colorado, San Francisco. But what happened is that, let's say in South Dakota, they were finding $1 per pan. In Colorado or San Francisco, maybe $2. Out here, when they found gold, each pan will have between $50 to $60. They will come back and they will have gold nuggets the size of your fist.
Wow.
They never seen that. So everybody start coming up here, but there's already people with their claims, so you can't go in there, so you won't find any gold there. You have to keep exploring. So many people went up there, and by the time they get to the border, the Canadian ones, it starts checking all the supplies. It's like, sorry, what was your name? John? John Smith? Oh, nice meeting you, John. You only have 1,900 pounds on supplies, so we can't let you cross. So what is that guy gonna do? He's already traveled all that time, so he tried to see if someone will loan him or give him something, but then that person will be short. So you basically lost all the money, making all the way up there. Oh, they're stopped. What are they seeing? What's happening
Bear
here?
poop or
These are horses. We have a horse back here,
Oh,
but they're stopped here. I don't know what.
maybe a bear.
That's another bus. Come on. Come on. I got excited about this one.
Everybody stop.
Guys, we're almost approaching here to our camp. We're gonna start making our way inside. We're gonna meet the Mercedes driver,
Christmas trees.
and then we're gonna start use the bathroom and load you into the Mercedes. Take everything with you guys, and I will meet you guys there in a few moments.
Thanks, sir.
If you're wearing green, I just like to pick up strangers. Guys, this is Eric.
Hi,
Eric is going to be our awesome driver of the Mercedes that I told you about. So you guys are going to follow him inside our camp. He's going to show you the bathrooms. I'm going to come out here, park the vehicle, and then I will go there and meet you guys and keep doing a lot of bad jokes so far. Is you guys ready to go skydiving and glacier swimming?
With puppies.
With
Well, yes.
that's the most important part, right? With puppies.
Well, guys, as soon as we get almost everybody off the bus, I'll start leading you in.
Yeah, and what'd you think about that? That was, you know, that was like a huge bonus on this excursion. We got a really nice little drive through Skagway and a little discussion of its history. We got some info on the gold rush, some really good information too. Like that was just a nice, that was a pleasant trip. Like I would have paid good money for that, and that was just kind of a bonus that came along with this whole Musher excursion. This ended up being several hours, and the entire thing was fun. This was just a really good use of our time.
This is Eric. Yeah, I've already said that I'm your driver today. It's going to take us right about 10 minutes to get up to the dogs today.
So guys, today we're gonna have a smooth ride. We have a third axle. Thank you. You think this is So I'm gonna have you guys right here on the
Hello, everybody. Hey. My name is John, and I'm going to be your dog musher today. Look, if you have any questions at all, say about the dogs or Alaska or my life decisions, ask away.
Do the dogs just live for this? Do they love this?
I wouldn't do this if my dogs didn't love it. Think of your dog and they like to go for a ride in the car or to the park or whatever.
Yes.
Dogs like to play as well.
This is for them.
Now, the more you train a dog, the more confident they're going to be. It really builds their confidence to train a dog well. So a working dog is actually a very happy animal.
Okay.
They're not misused or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, they are working dogs, but I love them like my family.
Yeah. We have a dog that has anxiety problems, so when he's training or working, he's much happier too.
Yeah, they need a job.
Well, they're marking as they're going.
Eddie, straight ahead now, straight ahead. Come on, bud. Static, let's go. Straight ahead. Not up the hill. They all have names. Boston, COVID, Plaid, Static, Big Eddie, Copper, Nelson, Redding, Paul, Manic, Mobay, Rat, and Switch. Plaid's kind of cool thinking about it. There you go, man. You guys from the world?
Kentucky.
Huh?
Lexington, Kentucky.
Kentucky? Yeah. Do they have sled dogs there?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
We have coon dogs.
Oh, I got you. What about the rest of the people on the herd?
We're from California.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, me too. We live at the beach though.
Okay, that ain't bad. That's a good deal. Whereabouts in California? Are you southern?
Oceanside.
Is that southern?
San Diego, Southern California.
Okay, San Diego. Right, Tijuana. My friend, I assume they don't have sled dogs in Georgia either.
No, definitely not.
Just trying to cross that bridge from
What part of Georgia?
from Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, of course.
You a baseball fan? I think they just won the World Series.
We did last year.
Well, on their way, what is this one this year?
I mean, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Come on now, straight ahead. Straight ahead. Good dog, straight ahead. Good dog. We're gonna give him a rest and a pee break here. Good dog, very good. Go ahead, boys. Take it. Hey.
They all know to go. Look, Daniel. They all know.
Good dog. Anyone would like a picture of them on the cart while I'm waiting?
Terrific. Sounds perfect.
Perfect for me. So if I have to get into town to get groceries, I take a dog team or a snowmobile. The dog team much more reliable. They never break down.
So this is a pretty big team of dogs, right?
Yeah. This is 13. You'd see 16 in a Iditarod.
Okay.
But that's just because they're pulling a longer distance. And this is a heavier weight than what they're normally pulling. Like their strength training would be.
Oh, they're eager. Jumping.
And they're all some form of husky breed, or?
This is an Alaskan Husky. So Siberians and Malamutes can pull, but this is the only kind of dog that can race really, that can do this kind of work.
Okay.
You know, it's the most efficient dog for long distance racing. And they're all just mutts. That's why they look like that. They look so dang different. The Kennel Club won't recognize it as a pure breed. That's why I say, but they are, because no other dog can do this.
How much do they weigh?
I mean, it depends on the dog. Like Big Eddie and Mobe are certainly different in size, but between 50 and 60 pounds is the perfect dog. Look, the average American house dog, probably a little overfed.
Oh yeah.
It's okay though. You know, like, it's a house dog. It's okay if it's a little fat and happy. But, you know, these are athletes, so this is what a dog is probably supposed to look like. You'll see them in a minute. They're not skinny, they're just muscular. That's how they can pull 6 fully grown adults around on a heavy cart.
That one just wants to go.
The one next to him really doesn't like his partner. His name is Nelson, the black dog. So run away from him.
You have ones that are dominant males that try to take over the side.
My leader in my alpha is Radical, the black one. He's the oldest dog, so that helps out. But nobody fights with him. Everybody knows he's the leader. He's 8, while everybody else is 3 and 5 and 4. 2. Yeah, that's what you want.
They can jump over the wire
Yeah.
and it doesn't create a problem for them?
It tangles the lines up, but I'll just go through and unspin them after every tour.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they hop back and forth quite a bit. So they're lucky.
So at what age do they retire?
Probably around 8 or 9. Yeah. The bigger dogs will slow down a little bit earlier, but I don't know.
Who gets to keep them? when they retire? Or do they just...
I only have 10 dogs, so I can keep mine when they retire. Yeah, but like the bigger kennels, you have $150. You can't afford to feed your retirees for your retirees. So they get adopted out and help dogs. Some of the more famous ones, people have their name on a list to get them, before they even retire.
So, I mean, I don't hear about racing the way you hear about baseball. Like, are there websites and magazines devoted to it? And
There are. It's just popular here in Alaska, but probably because mushers don't want you to know about it. It used to be covered on ESPN, and then they took that down. People in Alaska, we don't want anybody. It's just the truth, man. It's not the last frontier for a reason. That's why we put up with living in such a harsh environment, because it's very isolated and you don't have maybe. But I don't know, more people should like it. I guess it's just not as popular as baseball or football or any of the bigger American sports. But it's the same as, say, Indy 500 or...
yeah.
Same concept. Ready? Alright!
Feel like me on a dog sled.
Were you on ESPN? No. Oh, okay.
I've done some smaller races. This winter I'm going to do the T200. There's only 3 people signed up right now, including myself. So I'm either going to win or I'm going to medal.
And on the races, what's the distance on some of the ones that you would do?
And the distances in long distance racing range from 50 miles to 1,100 miles. Anything in between there. But the T200 is 200.
Okay.
How long does it usually take you?
Say it again?
How long does it usually take you? A 200-mile one, that would be less than a day. There's minimum rest in between that you have to do for your dog's sake. Straight ahead now, Rad. Straight ahead.
Oh, look at that.
Doggy.
I know where to go.
Please exit on the left side if you could. Only thing I'll say is please don't come over to this side of the line here, where I'm standing. Look, you don't have to give them the hand like this. Let them smell you. They don't know what that means. They're the kind of dogs, they'll just let you know if they want to be petted on. Okay. But no one's going to bite you or anything. Anybody want to pet?
Sure, yeah.
Look, they sure want you to meet you. Look at COVID here. This is Boston. I'm from Boston, and this is COVID.
Hey, sweeties. Hi.
Oh.
Hi, babies. Thanks for the ride. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is static and plaid. Pet any dog you want.
Okay.
Goodness. So sweet.
Are you social? Are you happy? Hey, bud. Well, hello. Hello. Hello there. Hello. How are you? How are you?
That's Eddie.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Ed. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy. How about you, bud? How are you? Hello. Hello. Hey, buddy. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. How are you?
Well, Big Ed. I mean, he has a lot of names. I call him.
It's good to see ya. It's good to see ya. Hello. Hello. Hello to you. Hello. Hello. Yes. Aren't you wonderful? Aren't you wonderful? Your buddies are wonderful here. Hello. Hi. Hi, how are you? How are you? It's good to see you. Hello. Hello. Hey, how are you?
Hey, bud. Hello, bud. This guy is... Hey, how are you? How are you, bud? Hello. Hello. Hello, wonderful little doggies. Hello, wonderful doggy. Oh, hello. Hi. Hi. Hi, how are you? You guys did great. You guys did great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I gotta clean off my lids tonight. Remind me. Clean off my buds.
So guys, as we're coming down here, on the left side, you're gonna see what we have close to.
I've left this video fairly complete, but I went ahead and edited out the drive back down the hill. It was actually very exciting, but as I watched, it didn't quite. It's hard to translate. So that's something. Go do this. Go do the same trip, because you get history of the area, you get history of the region, you get dog mushing, and this was just a lot of fun. I can't stress that enough. This was a several-hour excursion, and we just packed a whole lot in. But yeah, I've edited out a little bit of this just to make it not horribly long. But I enjoyed this so much, and yeah, I really wanted to give a viewer a sense of just how cool and how packed this excursion was. It wasn't just the dog mushing. There was a whole lot else to it. And yeah, it was just great. And we are heading back to their little village area. They had some shops, they had some dogs and some puppies we would see in a moment and get to play with them. And one of their young mushers actually did kind of a Q&A presentation with us. And I'm going to let you check that out. It was fascinating. Yeah, I really developed an appreciation for what they do after taking this excursion.
So this is the last time of this vehicle, guys. Take everything with you. I'm going to have you guys on the hallway.
In the hallway. Just running over it. Perfect. Everyone is in the general area. Did you guys have fun, Top?
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Does anyone remember any names of their dogs or their musher?
Denali.
Zeus, Scody, Striker, Dottie, Decker, Miles City, Clancy, Benchmark, Holly, Noxon, Dixon. That's all I remember. That was easy. That's a lot. Those dogs are going to be the dogs that I will be racing this winter. So yeah.
So you're from Wisconsin?
No. Those guys are from Montana. Yeah. So I'll be going down to Montana at the end of my season here to go race and train those guys. Does anyone have Blue, Salsa? Yeah, you guys did. So that was Teresa's team. Blue, Salsa, Gira, Jenna, Hopgoblin, Hiccup, all the fun guys. Yeah, those guys are from Wisconsin. I've known all those dogs since they were puppies. I held them all when they were all newborn puppies, so that was pretty cool. I get to see them all the way up here and see how far they've come, so that's pretty cool. And then we had Haley's team. She had Shogun, Hawking, Fritter, Sharpie, Hazel, and a few other dogs in there. That team is pretty young, but they're still a pretty awesome dog team. So is Haley. And then John was up there with Big Ed, Rad, Switch, COVID, Copper. Yeah, there's one dog named COVID. That dog team is more of a long-distance dog team, and they're pretty amazing as well. COVID actually belongs to the kids of that musher. COVID is their dog, but it's pretty cool. So I'm going to be walking you guys through our sled here pretty quick, then talk to you guys about the Iditarod, and then we're going to go ahead and go meet our puppies. But first, my name is Maddie. I'm an experienced musher. I've been around the sport of mushing all 19 years of my life. I'm originally from Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and that's where I got my start with dog mushing. When I graduated high school last May, I packed everything up and I moved to Alaska so I could chase my dream of working with sled dogs and one day competing in the Iditarod. So I've lived here a little over a year now, and I've loved every second of it. When I first got here, it poured down raining for 3 weeks, but I was just excited that I got to work with dogs. And then in November, I think around there, it was about negative 60 degrees at one point, and I loved it even then because I just got to hang out with my dogs all day and have fun. And then during Iditarod, I loved it even more because I got to watch all my dogs work, so that was pretty awesome. But I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through our sled here. This is your basic long-distance mushing sled. It's one that you're going to see on races like the Iditarod, the Quest, the John Bear Grease, pretty much any race that's over 300 miles long. This is the style of sled that you're going to see. This rounded part right up here, that's what we call our brush bow. It kind of acts like a bumper. When you're mushing along, sometimes your dogs take the turn a little too late, or you call the command a little too late. Your sled's not going to turn right away with your dogs. It'll turn a little bit after. So your sled will probably end up bumping into some tree, brush, snowbank, or something. But it's going to bump you off that and point you back in the right direction. At least that's what it's supposed to do. I relied on my brush bow quite a bit this winter. I was going 5 miles downhill into a 180-degree turn before I could start my half-mile little trail back to my kennel. And as I was going around my turn, I was like, oh, I'm a little too far to my left, but my brush bow is going to save me. I'll bump off, no big deal. It did not. Once my brush bow hit the tree, it snapped in half. The rest of my sled slid into that tree. I went over my handlebars, hit the tree as well. I ended up with a concussion, a few bruised ribs, and a broken kneecap as well. So it was pretty interesting. Accidents happen on the trail all the time. It's just like any other car accident. You just have to get better than get back out there. This green thing right here, this is what we call our sled bag, and in our sled bag we keep things like human food, dog food, extra booties, collars, leashes, necklines, tug lines, parts of our gang line, dog boots like these two up here, pretty much anything that our dogs wear that they can chew through, we're going to keep extra of that in our sled bag. We carry a cooker like this one here when we're out on the trail camping as well, because this is how we turn snow into hot water for our dog food and for our human food as well. Then I also always carry a sleeping bag, an axe, a GPS device, and fireworks with me. Those guys are pretty noisy. But I carry my sleeping bag because I take naps on the trail with my dogs. Once they're resting, I'm also resting, so it's nice just to roll out a sleeping bag, sleep under the stars next to them. I carry an inReach with me because that's how I can communicate. It's like a satellite phone. I can communicate with my boss. If I'm stuck and I break my leg on the trail, I can use my inReach and he will figure it out eventually. Then I also carry an axe with me in case there's something down in my trail. I can use it to help get out of my way. And I was also taught by an older native musher. He said, hey, you see moose coming? Use your axe, swing like baseball bat. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. So I took that with me, put it in my back pocket as well. And then I figured out by accident one day that moose are scared of bottle rockets and Roman candles. And so I built a special attachment on the back of my sled. If I needed to, I could shoot them off from the back of my sled. It would scare the moose. We had quite a few violent moose on the trail this year. There was so much snow that they were walking on our dog trails, and once they seen our dogs and us, they would get very aggressive and very violent, and they would try and stomp our team. And so I would just light some fireworks off the back of my sled, it'd go boom, they'd go, ah, crisis avoided. It was awesome. I was very lucky I figured that out. Moving on back here, this is our handlebar. This is what we hold on to for dear life when we're mushing. The number one rule is don't let go. You always want to hold on, because if you fall off and you let go, your team's going to run away without you. We do have 3 different brakes here on our sled. This bottom one right here, this is what we call our drag mat. Our drag mat is used to control the speed of our team. This is how we use it to slow down for the most part. And this brake right here is what we call our brake bar. And our brake bar has 4 spikes in the bottom of it, 2 on each side. You just put a little bit of pressure on it, and it's really nice for slowing down on ice or hard-packed snow. When you want to completely stop your dog team, you put your full body weight on the brake bar, let your team come to a complete stop, and then we pull on our last brake. This is what we call our snow hook. Most mushers will have 2, 1 on each side. While you're still standing on your brake bar and your team's completely stopped, you put it down in the snow, and then you start to kick it in. And then once it's in for the most part, you can just get off and you can just hammer that into the ground with your foot. You want to make sure your snow hook is set properly, because if it's not, it's going to pop and then your team's going to run away, and then you're going to have to find a way to catch them. And that's no fun. Us mushers have dogs pulling us through the woods for a reason. We don't like to walk. So that's exactly why we always want to set our snow hook properly, just to make sure our team doesn't get away from us. And back here, this is what we call our old man seat. It was designed by an old man who was tired of standing on those really long runs, so he made something where he could sit down and mush at the same time. But again, you always want to hold on, because you can fall over even when you're sitting down. The first time I used an old man seat, I literally fell off my sled, and it was not fun. But I grabbed onto the back of my sled and I was able to pull myself up. But also in our old man seat, we have extra storage. We keep a cooler in here. That's what we sit on. And in that cooler, we keep extra dog food, extra dog snacks, or dog dishes. We do carry snowshoes with us just in case we need to break trail for our dogs. And then back here, we have a second little bag, and this is where we carry our straw. Most mushers will build a second attachment on their sled, so they can carry their straw separate from their sled bag. I'm allergic to the straw, so I can't carry it on my sled bag or in my sled bag, because if it gets on all my gear, it's going to be a really irritating next 120 miles, and I really don't want that when I'm in the middle of a race. But that's kind of the gist of our sled there. I know I'm kind of flying through this, but I just want you guys to have enough time for puppies, so I'm kind of going a little fast. This right here, this is our Iditarod Trail. It has a northern and a southern route. On even years, we take the northern route. On odd years, we take the southern route. But eventually, they both make it to Nome. Every year, right here in downtown Anchorage, we have what's called the ceremonial start. At the ceremonial start, thousands of people come out and line the streets and trails of Anchorage for about 12 miles to cheer on our mushers and wish them good luck. Those 12 miles in the ceremonial start are not timed. It's not a part of your official race time. It's just a fun thing that the organization does for the mushers, the fans, and the community as well. It was really awesome. I got to be a part of it this year. So at the ceremonial start, every musher has their 14 dogs attached to their main sled, and then attached to that main sled, we have a second sled, what we call the tag sled. So pretty much there's 2 mushers for 1 team. On that main sled, we have the main musher with what we call an Iditarider. An Iditarider is someone who bids to ride in the musher's sled bag. This year, my boss's Iditarider was Miss Wheelchair Alaska, Christy Lent. It was really cool to have her and her team there with us. And then on that second sled, the tag sled, we have what's called the tag sled driver. That person is normally picked by the musher. It's either their significant other, a family member, a friend, anyone in the sport. This year my boss Dan, he picked me, and 4-year-old Maddie was jumping up and down on the inside like, oh my god, I made it to the start of the Iditarod. I was so excited. I was glad I got to be there and do that with my boss. One thing that Dan told me before we left for the ceremonial start was, hey, be prepared. People are going to throw stuff at you. Don't let anything hit you in the head. Be ready to catch it. And so I'm starting to freak out in my brain. Like, is he just messing with me? That was our relationship. As a handler, I live in the house with my musher. I have a room in their home. We become family. We called them my race parents, and I was the daughter that they never wanted but had anyway. That kind of describes our relationship. It was a lot of fun joking around with each other. So I thought Dan was just joking with me because I did hit my head a lot this season, off trees, off bushes, off everything. And so I thought he was just messing with me. He was not. We were about a quarter mile in, and someone's like, hey, catch. And so I turned and I caught it. And Dan looked around, he's like, what'd you get? I'm like, well, it's 10:30 in the morning and someone just threw a beer at my head. You want to tell me what's going on? He's like, welcome to the Iditarod! And I'm like, thank you. For 12 miles, we had people throwing coffee, candy, beer, mimosas, chips, hot dogs, and muffins at us. It was pretty awesome. Someone handed me a mimosa, and I'm like, Dad, what do I do with this? And he's like, you drink it. And I'm like, okay. And then, like, a few feet later, someone's like, hey, you want a muffin? I'm like, yeah, I do. And so I have mimosa in one hand and a muffin in the other. I was like, wow, breakfast at its finest. And Dan was like, welcome to the club. I'm like, thank you. But as we cruised through, it was just really fun to spend that time with Dan and the dogs and Christy. When we got to the end, Dan being the big macho musher he is, he walks up to me, hands on his hips, he's like, how many beers did you catch? And I'm like, how many did you catch? He's like, I caught 3. And I'm like, I caught 8. And he's like, 8? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, how? I'm like, Dan, old man, young girl, do the math. Who are they going to throw it at? And he's like, oh. And he's like, well, can I have them? I'm like, no. He's like, why? You're underage. I'm like, you told me to drink a mimosa on the trail. I'm like, I think I can have a beer too. And he's like, Maddie. And I'm like, Dan, we live in Alaska. And he's like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, yeah, I guess. But that night I went home and I found little sticky notes, and I wrote little notes saying, hey, we're cheering you on from home. Can't wait to see you when you cross the finish line. We'll be there cheering you on. Opal, who's Dan's personal dog, she'll be waiting for you when you get to the airport. Egg Roll, one of our dogs that was racing, was like, give Egg Roll some ear scratches for me. Just little encouraging notes. I taped him to the beers and then I hid him in his sled bag. So when he was out on the trail, he was able to find all of those beers, and he also got an encouraging note along the way. And he told me when he finished, it helped him push the extra mile and keep going, and helped him encourage the dogs to keep going as well. So I was very happy that I could do that for him. The next day, we all travel 70 miles north, right here to a town called Willow. That's where the racing really begins. Every musher gets their 3, 2, 1 go, and then they're out on the trail for however long it takes them to complete the race. This year we had 49 mushers start the Iditarod, and only 37 of them crossed the finish line in Nome. It took them anywhere from 8 to 14 days to complete the race this year. In the early 70s, that's when the Iditarod was first being founded. They held the first Iditarod in 1973, and that year they were like, yeah, it'll take us 10 days to get to Nome. I can do 100 miles in a day, 10 days, and I'll be there. It took the winner in 1973 31 days to complete the race. We've gone from a 31 to over 45 day range to complete, now down to an 8 to 14 day range to complete. A lot of it has to do with how far our dogs have come. In the early 70s, they were mainly using the purebred Siberian Husky, which are the dogs that you see in my older pictures up here. They're a little bit bigger, more used for pulling freight. They go a little bit slower. Whereas now we're at the hybrid of an Alaskan Husky, which is a Siberian mixed with things like German Shepherd, Lab, Greyhound, Border Collie, all different sorts of cattle dogs. Pretty much anything you can think of has been bred into the Alaskan Husky. If you guys look at my posters up here, and then all the dogs that you've seen up top, those guys are all Alaskan Huskies, as well as all of our puppies and our older dogs down here as well. A lot of it also has to do with how far our training has evolved. In the early 70s, they were mainly just racing for the fun of it, just to get out there, so they weren't training every day. Whereas now, when people are training for races, they're training to win. This year, from September 1st, from September 1st, 2021 to April 13th of this year, I was on the trail every single day training dogs. Some dogs had certain days off, other dogs had other days off, but I was always out there training. I was either putting on 3 miles or 120 miles or somewhere in between. I was always out there with my dogs, just working with them. So that was a lot of fun for me. I never had a day off until I came here in the summertime, but I mean, it's pretty cool when you get to be out there with your dogs and just hang out and watch them run, look at their dog butts all day. That's pretty fun. You get to know their dog butt for sure. But this year we had some pretty crazy weather conditions on the trail. We had 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts that were literally knocking mushers and their sleds over, including my boss. He said it was pretty scary out there. This year's winner of the 50th anniversary of the Iditarod is a guy named Brent Sass. Brent lives out in Eureka, Alaska. It's pretty much the middle of nowhere, and he's a really awesome dog musher. Definitely a well-deserved win for him. It was a clean sweep this year for him, Iditarod, and the Quest races on both the US and Canadian side, so he had a really awesome year. Every time I talk to Brent, I walk away learning something new, and as a young dog musher, that's something I really appreciate. I'm also very, very proud of my boss, Dan. We trained for a top 20 finish. The field of competitors was just amazing, so just to even finish would have been awesome. But top 20 is what we were shooting for. So when Dan crossed the finish line in 4th place this year, we were all pretty amazed. Not what we were expecting at all, but he somehow pulled it out. Dan also crossed the finish line with all 14 dogs that he started the race with, and only 2 other people in the 50-year history of the Iditarod have ever finished with all the dogs that they started with. So Dan made number 3, and he's finished the highest out of all those guys. So he is now going down in the record books, and I could not be more proud of him and the dogs. They put in a lot of work this season, and they definitely deserved it. The next day after he finished, we went to the drop dog lot, and I was feeding our dogs, scooping, and as I turned around, I noticed Dan was having a personal moment with all the dogs, just leaning over, giving them a hug, thanking them for pulling him through the Iditarod Trail. And so me being me, I cried just about everything. And so I started ugly crying as I'm taking a picture, and we printed that picture out, and it's now hanging in the shop. And it's just a reminder of how tight the bond is between a musher and their dogs. Spending 1,000 miles out on the trail together, you become pretty close. I was very happy I could capture that moment. The bond we have with our dogs is an amazing thing. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. We trust our dogs to pull us through the Alaskan wilderness when half the time we have no idea where we're going, but our dogs always know which trail leads to home, just as much as our dogs trust us, the musher, to keep them safe when we're out there training and running our races. So it's a pretty amazing thing. I'm lucky I get to share it with all these dogs every day. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go meet our puppies. I'm going to take you guys to go meet our 4-week-old puppies first, and then if there's time, we'll say hi to our Shark Tank puppies. They're kind of our toddlers. But yeah, if you guys want to follow me, we'll head right this way. Oh, jeez. Will the flash scare them? Yeah.
Oh my
I got it.
Oh, Mama's in there.
Get bigger babies. I'll kind of give a second for the rest of our crew to get over here. So when we're holding them, we're going to hold them with 2 hands close to our chest, kind of like we're giving them a hug. These guys need to be supported. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I leave that up? These guys are also not potty trained. They have no idea when they're going to the bathroom, so if they go on you, please do not drop them. Just gently pass them off to someone else. These guys are also finding their voices, so if they start making noises, I promise it's normal. They're just doing the what does this button do, figuring it all out. There are more of you guys than there are puppies, so we will need to share and pass them around. So just be ready for that. You guys can definitely take pictures. We just ask no flash because it will hurt their little eyeballs and it will kind of scare them a little bit. So
I don't think this.
No, he didn't.
The one that I'm taking home?
I'm taking them all home.
Hey, thank you. Now I'll go ahead and start winding this video down. I did edit it quite a bit. Oh yeah, we're in their little gift shop here. They had some cool stuff. I had to buy a few things. They had some cool stickers, and they had hot chocolate and coffee and that kind of thing here too. It was very cozy. And that guy was here. And yeah, we're back with Axel in the van. He was still pretty talkative on the way back to the cruise ship, but he didn't. He used up most of his good narration on the way to the Musher camp. But yeah, I wanted to stress again. This was a several-hour excursion on our cruise. You know, pretty much you get to play with puppies and do the little dog musher ride, and you're like, yeah, I'm in. But there was so much more involved in this, and several people on the little van going back to the cruise ship talked about how this was something really special. I hope you could catch that. Just from the video that I've put up. Axel came and got us at the boat. It was a good half an hour drive back up to the Musher camp, where he really gave a lot of good information. I really appreciated what he did. That was better than like some city tours that I've paid to do on my own. He really went out of his way to give us something special, even on the way back up to the Musher camp, and I appreciated that. We got to the Musher camp, and you kind of ride those big, crazy vehicles up the hill and down the hill. Down the hill was a bit of a roller coaster ride. It was kind of exciting, and yeah, I enjoyed that too. And then you get up to the Musher camp, and you actually get to ride on one of those training vehicles with the dogs pulling it. That was pretty cool. And then of course you get to kind of play with the dogs afterwards. We got the Q&A session with the young musher lady there, who was great, and has already accomplished some stuff there. That was kind of cool. Then we saw the puppies. This was just great, and I can't stress that enough. And if you're going to be doing an Alaskan cruise, again, Skagway was probably my favorite city that we stopped at on the cruise. I enjoyed that the most. It had kind of an authentic old feel to it. And we also spent some time at the Red Onion and did that tour. I'm going to put up another video about that. That was hysterical. We did 2 really incredible excursions while in Skagway, and we still had a couple of hours to explore the town. And that's just a special little town, and I really appreciated again what Axel and this group did. So yeah, if you're taking an Alaskan cruise, I would highly recommend doing the dog musher camp.